Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM. Here with my tag team partner in podcasting. Please welcome to the show, Jerry Wrestling. This is Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning. And man, I will say, to start things off, I went to NXT on Sunday, and Johnny Wrestling, he is as over as it gets. Holy smokes.
So I'm happy you brought this up. For this is actually kind of local for us here in Evansville, too. On Raw last night, they were running ads. NXT is coming to Evansville in June.
I know you've had NXT shows before, so I probably am preaching to the choir, but man, that was a really fun time. That was a fun show.
See, I feel like your show was probably better for a few reasons. The first one is that they are right on the heels of their biggest show ever. Yeah. So I feel like if I were to go to a show this past weekend, I'm more into NXT than I was when they came.
Absolutely. And the guys are more over, than they were when they came to you the last time, I would assume.
I don't even remember when that was, to be honest with you.
I was impressed that it was a house show, but they treated it like a TV taping. And what I mean by that is they had cut scenes, they had scenes in the back, they had promos. EC3 was cutting a promo, and it's the War Memorial. I've been going there since I was a kid. I went to my first wrestling event at the War Memorial with my dad in Johnstown, and I saw Bret Hart wrestle Earthquake. And so I've been to that dump before, and he's in the hallways cutting a promo, talking about what a dump it is. And they're in the parking lot, and we're out in the parking lot for a second, and you see Aleister Black walking into the building. Like they're doing
that's
really
cool.
Cool. They treated it like a TV taping, and I see why they can get away with that where WWE can't, because they can't make a house show look like Raw with black curtains.
Sure,
but they could make it feel like one, and they certainly did at this one. My favorite part of the whole show, and I think it's because my son was there. He's a big Johnny Wrestling fan. Johnny Gargano. We watched the pay-per-view, and that was all he needed. And he just kept talking about Johnny Garganos the whole time. I won't correct him on his name. And his music hits, and Evan starts losing his mind. The whole place goes crazy, but Evan's out of his seat, and he's jumping up and down, and he's crazy. I'm getting the camera ready, and then the music just stops. And out comes Tommaso Ciampa.
Nice.
Oh, disappointment mixed with hatred. Just the boos were raining down. This one dude behind me started screaming the F word, and Evan's looking at me like, whoa, the precedent's been set. Can we say the F word? And he's like, you expected a boy to come through that curtain. I'm a man, and he just walks to the ring, no music. His theme music is everybody booing him. And I think it's perfect. They're doing with him what they tried to do with Dolph Ziggler not having music, and it didn't work with Dolph, but it works with Ciampa. And then he gets in there and he wrestles some dude I never heard of before, guarantees he's going to tap him out, does. Then he doesn't break the hold. So they start ringing the bell over and over again. So he breaks the hold. He goes out of the ring, starts ringing the bell himself, gets in the ring, hits the dude with the bell, starts choking him out with the bell.
Is he wrestling Gargano?
No, he's just wrestling some dude. Gargano's never came out because and he even said he's not in the building. He's not coming tonight. He just played the music to piss everybody off.
Wow.
And so cool. He's just tapping this guy out and making it crazy. And then from where we're sitting, we're right across from an opening, and I see some dude in a hoodie running towards the ring, and I went, oh, here he is. And he jumps the fence, and by the time my son realizes it's Johnny Gargano's, he's out of his seat again. He's out of his mind. Johnny Wrestling's in the ring with a neck brace on, cleaning house. They bring out the roster to break them up, and we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned pull apart. Like it was, I thought it was awesome. What a house show!
That's great. I'm glad you had it. Was it in? So the whole show was good?
Yeah, that wasn't even the main event. The main event was Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream and Andrade.
Oh, very good. So, so the call-ups you were worried that the call-ups weren't going to be there.
Sanity wasn't there, but Andrade was, and No Way Jose kicked the show off.
Very nice. No Way Jose kicked off the show I was at too. Our main event was Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Roode and who else was it?
I want to retract my statement. Didn't I say that the guys probably weren't over when they were with you? You just named 3 huge stars.
Yeah, but again, they weren't called up yet.
Right.
You know, so it was I can't even think of who the 4th guy was in there for some reason. I don't know why.
Brock Lesnar.
Hey, can I start with I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you see something else to wrestle with on the WWE network yet?
I did. I watched it that night. I couldn't wait. Couldn't contain myself.
Yeah, I had my parents in town, so I wasn't able to watch it. What'd you think?
People were upset about the video quality. I was more upset with, and I won't use the word upset because I liked it. I thought it was a good episode. I don't care that they edited out the F words. I don't need to hear that. For me, I hope they get their volume right. Bruce was louder than Conrad. So for me to be able to hear Conrad, Bruce was screaming at me from my television. Right. And that happened a bunch. So I'd like them to be able to level out their volume better, and then I'll have no complaints.
Man, that's only one of my complaints. I wish I could say I loved it, but I didn't.
I think they'll get better. I think it'll get fine. You know, it's not their podcast.
It's not the same. It's just not to me.
But it didn't change their podcast at all.
I mean,
but it didn't change the actual podcast. Like when they uploaded Rob Van Dam's podcast,
correct.
that was one of the best ones I'd heard. That was one of my favorites.
Okay, yeah, the RVD one's great, but there's something about they're not comfortable on the network. I don't know what it is. Bruce's jokes don't go over well. I don't know. I'm only about like a half hour into it, and I'm not enjoying it. I hate saying that, but I'm just not.
I'm hoping that they get more comfortable. I think that they will in time. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I thought might surprise you was I wanted to love something else to wrestle with. And I mean, I still love the podcast, but something's missing with me on the network.
I'd like more video clips too.
Yeah, I like that part of it. But also the other thing is like when I'm listening to their regular podcast, I'm driving, I'm doing something else. I just have it on in the background. I don't want to just sit on my couch and watch it, I guess is another problem.
That's tough for me because I always work out with it. And
yeah.
So I have to sit, but I don't mind doing that for like special ones. I don't mind doing it for the watch alongs. So,
but anyway, that was my only real take on that. Let's get into Raw because there's a good bit to talk about, I guess. I took notes again because so much has been happening recently. Not a whole bunch happened last night, but plenty to talk about. I would say the show was okay. What was your vibe of Raw last night?
I thought it was a really basic to good show. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I never wanted to turn it off, but I never was on the edge of my seat. There were no mark out moments. It was just, it was okay. Like the main event, the minute they tell me what the main event is, I'm like, I could miss this and be okay.
Yeah. I didn't really care much about the 10-man tag 2 weeks ago. I think it was. I definitely don't care about a 10-woman tag, although they did give you kind of a payoff a little bit.
Right, they did. You put that many people in a match anyways, and it's hard to hold my attention unless the stipulation is a Royal Rumble or a ladder match or something crazy. But too many 5-on-5 just a regular tag. I get bored with it. The
payoff of the 10-woman tag wound up being the title of the episode today.
Okay, I can't think of anything else worth naming it. I mean, like there were some good things. I am enjoying Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt as a team. You know, I enjoyed the Elias Bobby Roode match just from watching a match. I thought that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar sucked.
I didn't think they sucked.
I thought they sucked eggs. I got a kick out of the Miz Taraj.
Yeah, I like the Miz Taraj. Okay, so let me break apart. You said a few statements. Let me break apart what I agree with and don't agree with. I thought Roman and Brock were fine. It wasn't their best work, but it was fine to me.
I think the whole world is over them fighting each other. They've got to move on from this now.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming whatever they consider to be the payoff will probably happen on Friday.
It's got to be the blow off. It's got to be.
And then, so you said you did like Elias and Bobby Roode didn't do a whole lot for me. It wasn't bad, but I didn't consider it great.
I liked it. I thought the end was a little goofy. Putting Elias over was a surprise. It was an okay match.
And then you said, oh, I like the Miz. The Miz Taraj had kind of like a show-long gimmick of trying to join a stable, I guess was kind of what they were doing, right?
Right. And you and I have said a long time ago that show-wide threads are always fun.
Okay, yes, but this really only had like, there's only the two threads, right? He tried to join the Shields.
Yeah, try to join Roman Reigns. No. Try to join Finn. No.
It was Seth Rollins.
Yeah, what'd I say?
Roman Reigns.
Oh, well, they're all the freaking same to me.
It's too many R's. You're right. And then you had Finn Balor, and he tried to join, and their gimmick is that the Balor Club's for everyone, even the gay people. And it's still not for the Miz Taraj.
Hashtag rainbow.
Hashtag rainbow. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what made WrestleMania's entrance so awkward to me. Like I love gay people and all that good stuff, but it just made no sense at WrestleMania how they just jammed it down your throat.
Yeah, I don't like it getting jammed down my throat on either side. I don't care who you love. I'm okay with it. You go do what you need to do, but I also find it disingenuous when you crowbar it in where for no reason.
Right. Disingenuous is the word that I would use too. And now they kind of mentioned it the Monday after WrestleMania, but they've dropped it ever since. And now it's now it's like the opposite of what they're doing, because it's not for everyone. It's only for Balor and his two friends.
Yeah, it's not for the Miz Taraj, and then they had their match.
So yeah, so I did appreciate that goofiness that was going on. I thought actually I thought at some point he was going to try to join they were going to try to join a female stable and still get kicked out. I thought it was kind of funny that they're just lost without a leader. That's just kind of a good point.
Yeah, it's fun. At some point they're going to need to do something with it, but
Bruno got the 10-bell salute, which is extremely rare for a wrestler that is not on the active roster.
He got 10 bells at the NXT show.
And not only that, the amount of love he got on social media and even on like legit news, I was really impressed.
I was impressed. I almost want to say that I was surprised.
I was.
Not that people loved him, but just how mainstream it was. And I thought that the WWE did a good job of running with it. I didn't watch the thing afterwards on Raw. I'll probably watch that at some point this week, though. Yeah,
I'm curious as to... Okay, if it's a documentary, I'm hooked. I love any WWE documentary is great.
Yeah.
If it's just like...
it's not a collection.
Yeah, that I don't care about. That's what I was trying to say.
They already had a collection up of him, and I don't care about those either. Just I have a hard time watching matches that happened a long time ago out of context.
I can understand that. It depends. There's never been a collection there's no thread to those. And even like I kind of consider an OCD thing about me, but even when I buy the Blu-ray sets or the DVD sets, I watch all the stuff. Usually I'm doing other stuff while it's going on. I love the documentary or whatever feature is accompanying it, but the other stuff is like not nearly as fun as the stuff they actually work on.
Will you be getting the Hardy Boys DVD that's coming out?
I get everything, but I get everything at Christmas.
Okay.
So I don't miss any of them. I literally have like every WWE home video release going back very far. You've seen my collection.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got the Coliseum archives. Watch out.
I really do. You know, one day when we do a show from home, I'll bring my laptop into my office and I'll show you kind of what it looks like now because it's kind of cool.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. What did you think about the Sammy and KO show?
That was something I also thought was a highlight of the show last night. I still find Sami Zayn the wrong kind of annoying. I think it might be the right kind of annoying. I'm not sure how annoying I find him.
I like it.
When he's with Kevin Owens, it's much more palatable for me.
I like it. I enjoy it. I don't see a need to split those two up for a while. They are a really good heel team that can do singles or tag together, and it doesn't seem weird.
And that's the thing is, like, we were talking about them for WrestleMania 34. I mean, I don't know why it can't be WrestleMania 35 that this match happens.
Right. I mean, really slow build this sucker up.
I think so too. Plus, like, they mentioned Miz a lot in there. I'm really curious to see what happens with Miz tonight as he returns to SmackDown and is going to be in the same place at the same time with Daniel Bryan. Yeah, and Daniel Bryan's got Cass to worry about too. So there are a lot of different ways that SmackDown could go tonight. Yeah, I'm actually, oddly excited about SmackDown. Yeah, but I mean, the rosters have been bolstered on both sides. I really feel like both sides benefited from the superstar shakeup. Curious to see where they wind up going tonight. Let's get to some other things that happened on Raw. So we had I know it's kind of cheesy, and like when it happens on American Idol, I think it's really douchey. But when Brock got visible goosebumps during Paul Heyman's speech, I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. I didn't like that segment. It was every Brock Lesnar segment I've seen for the past year. That's my complaint too. And then every Roman Reigns promo. These two are, I'm assuming, the Rumble will be, but near the top of a monster mega Saudi Arabia Greatest Royal Rumble card. This like dream crazy every championship on the line card. And these two are the two heavyweights in a cage. And that's one of the matches that I'm least interested in. Oh no, I'm interested in that one. Blow it out your wazoo. You know what? It's funny you mention this because I'm super excited about Friday's card. I don't want to come off like I'm not, but there are a few problems with the card on Friday, and let me talk about those real quick if you don't mind. Go for it, because I have some questions. Forget problems. I have questions. Okay. Well, here's my first. I have three real points about this. The first point is, maybe I have four, but my first point is they haven't really done enough to get us invested in the Rumble. For example, there's nothing at stake, and we don't really know many of the 50 names that are going to be in this thing. I have some theories as to how they're going to play this Rumble. I don't. Well, if you want to say, do what you want to do. Well, I'll let you finish your thought, and then I'll come in with mine. But before you jump to something else other than the Rumble, I have a thought on the Rumble. That's my thought. That's my thought on the Rumble. I've got other points about the pay-per-view. If you look at the show as a whole, they made a point to get Chris Jericho in there. You get The Undertaker 3 times a year, and they're using him here, and they're putting him in a casket match. You've got John Cena and Triple H. They're going to Saudi Arabia. They're making a big deal. Clearly, this is a huge deal for the WWE, and they're bringing out like the biggest, most recognizable stars. I don't know what kind of business they're trying to do in Saudi Arabia. I don't know who they're trying to spliff. I don't know what prince they're trying to get money from or what they're trying to do, but they're trying to impress the schnoz out of somebody in Saudi Arabia in particular. And I think that we're going to get a walk of Hall of Famers rolling into this Royal Rumble. Big names. Because, I mean, Undertaker can't do a good casket match. I think that matters very little to them. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ric Flair in this Royal Rumble. Like, I think they're just going on big-time name recognition in another country. I don't think it's any one person specifically. I think it's just big names. They're making their move in the Middle Eastern countries now, and they're realizing that it can be really, really profitable, and they want people to be hooked.
But they did one in they did the show in India, and I guess they did a good show in India, but they're putting together like a WrestleMania card for this, and they're throwing it on a Friday at noon.
I love that part. That's one of my favorite
2 weeks
parts.
after Mania. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's an ulterior motive underneath all of this. There has to be.
One thing I loved about 2016 on the WWE Network was those weekend shows. I believe they were usually on Saturday nights, but they didn't get quite the same build as a pay-per-view, and I just loved them. I think they might have been a little bit shorter, and they didn't have like the pay-per-view type set, but I loved having just a show that wasn't on a Sunday. It was on like a Friday or a Saturday.
One of my favorite shows of the year. It was on a Saturday morning. It was The Beast in the East. Remember that show?
Right.
It was Brock Lesnar. It was billed as Brock Lesnar, and he comes out and destroys Kofi Kingston and New Day. But the main event was one of my favorite matches of the year, and it was an NXT main event. It was Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship, and that was unbelievable.
Yeah, and that whole show was great, I remember, and I'm glad that this is happening. But a few more problems, like also the booking outside of the Rumble is also kind of lazy. For example, Triple H and Cena, that's cool. I'm excited to see it, but why? Why is that even happening? And the same thing with the casket match. It's like Undertaker and Rusev. They don't even have a thing. Like, why?
But why? Exactly.
And then my fourth complaint, if I had to pick one, would be if I know we're in the women's revolution and we're trying to really impress Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I feel like maybe they should take some sort of stand and let the women, I know it's not in the rules of their government, but
you're in a bad place to push women's revolution in Saudi Arabia. Those women will be lucky if they're allowed to be in the front seat of a car.
The women aren't even going to Saudi Arabia, is my understanding.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. They'd get stoned. It's so crazy.
Well, then maybe this isn't the best place to have a WWE show, is kind of my feeling.
Well, it's all about the cheddar.
You know what, Jared? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
There's money being made, and I don't want to sound like this anti-capitalism person, because I'm not. I believe in it wholeheartedly. If there's money to be made, go ahead and make it, but don't try to tell me that it's not. I don't.
Not what?
About money. You're not fooling me, WWE, on this greatest Royal Rumble. You're taking a thing you only do in January ever, and you're just giving us another one. You're practically doubling the size of it.
Okay.
Like, it's crazy.
Well, why are you singling out this show? Every show they do is about money.
Absolutely. This one seems really... They're doing more for this show than they do for any other... It does. They're doing more for this than they do for any other show. Like, in radio, you ever see your management... just kind of do a little bit more for one client than another. You ever see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see that too. And this is like, this must be their whale client, is what it feels like to me.
They really want the sale.
They're rolling out the red carpet for this one. They're giving them every superstar that doesn't have a vagina in the WWE, and they're putting them in cages, and they're putting championships on the line. It's huge.
They should call it WWE Sausage Party.
Greatest sausage fest.
Not a single vagina to be found. The biggest breasts will belong to Rusev.
We won't even serve tacos or clams in catering.
Oh, man. What else? I love you, Jer.
Over the line.
What else happened last? I think you got right up on there. But again, we just spent the last 10 minutes trashing the pay-per-view or the show that I'm really excited about. Like,
I'm not trashing it at all. I'm just saying, like, there's a reason they're doing it. They're not saying it, and I don't care, because I'm getting good wrestling on Friday afternoon. I don't want to sound like I don't like it, because I'm into the whole thing.
Let's see what else happened. Let's see. The Deleter of Worlds. We did that. I like that name, Deleter of Worlds. It's kind of cute, I guess. Although the promos still annoy me.
What do you think about Ziggler and McIntyre?
Interesting team that you're probably finding a way. I always cared about Ziggler. I've always been on the fence about McIntyre. People have always told me to like him, but I haven't seen anything that's gotten me there yet. This could be the thing that maybe gets him to wherever he needs to get to for me. What else did I have? We did the Sammy and Kevin show.
What about Sammy and Kevin versus Braun and what's his face, Bobby Lashley?
See, I think that was the better match of the night than Rude and Elias.
It was a good match. Bobby Lashley seems a little stale still to me.
Stale? What do you mean?
Stale's not the word, because stale means boring. He's not boring. Rusty. Seems clunky. Seems clunky in the ring to me.
I can get with clunky.
Yeah.
I feel like when I hear stale, I feel like we're tired of seeing him, and I'm not there yet. But believe me, we could get there. Believe me, we could get there.
By the time we get to him and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, we'll be bored of him.
Yeah, that could very well be true. What about, I also thought Gable and Mahal did okay.
They did okay. I like them both. I don't know if they're ever going to get pushed to that level again. I mean, Mahal had his chance. I don't think he'll ever see it again.
I'm really worried about No Way Jose.
Oh, boy. I'm not worried about No Way Jose. I'm glad. I hate his guts. He came out.
I'm surprised.
Son was booing him. He's like, boo. Listen, he's got the Adam Rose's gimmick. He's good in the ring. I mean, I saw him at NXT. I got to see him wrestle for more than 30 seconds at NXT, and he's got some good stuff, and he's a big guy. I don't know. I don't like this Carlito, Adam Rose morph. I don't like it.
I will say this. You remember how we talked about like winners and losers of the shakeup? We talked about Joe. I think a lot of people on the surface don't want to go to the blue brand just because it's SmackDown and Raw's the flagship show. But
sure.
we're talking about how Joe will probably be someone who really benefits from the move. Like Joe seems like he could be a champion on SmackDown, whereas he might get kind of lost in the shuffle on Raw.
Yeah.
I feel like the opposite is true for Corbin. I feel like Corbin is going to be lost in the shuffle on the Red show and not going to shine on Raw.
I mean, his first feast is No Way Jose.
Right. And it's not even that. I just don't see this working. And I don't think Corbin's bad, but I don't know. It didn't work for me last night, and I'm worried about him moving forward.
Well, here's what you have to ask yourself. When you're talking blue brand, can you see a main event with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles? Well, of course you can. Can you see a main event with Baron Corbin and AJ Styles? Sure. What about Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura? Probably sure. You can come up with those. Can you see Baron Corbin in a feud with Brock Lesnar? Because I don't. Can you see him in a feud with even Roman Reigns? Not really.
Yeah, it feels like we'd really have to work on that.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
And I mean, Brock's just a hard no.
He was in a feud with Cena for like 30 seconds, and it was just long enough for him to lose his Money in the Bank thing. Right. They just embarrassed him and sent him on his way.
And then let's see, I have oh, you know what I did like? I liked the moment of bliss.
Kelly was like, "What is this?" Kelly took it seriously. She thought it was a PSA. She did. She was like, "Wait a second. She's talking about bullying, and does she not even realize she's making fun of that girl for eating the food and called it gobbling it down?" I was like, "That's kind of the gimmick, dumbass." Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I liked about that. That story is very funny.
Yeah.
It's like John and I always have this joke about how, like, and it seems like you and Kelly have kind of experienced things like this too, where like when we were kids, like wrestling would be so cool, but your parents will always walk in on the dumbest crap. And it seems like with Kelly, there would always be like some weird thing she'd be sitting in on that you'd have to like explain what's going on. It doesn't make any sense.
She's never in for a 5-star match. She's never watching anything like a great promo. She's always coming in when like Mae Young's giving birth to a hand or something.
Right. It was for John. It was so funny. It was when there was a SmackDown promo. So this must have been 2003 or 2. It was when it was Reverend Devon and Deacon Batista, and Reverend Devon was talking about how masturbation is bad. And then out comes Ron Simmons, just all, damn, still post acolytes and everything. Yeah. And he's doing a 5-minute promo about how much he loves wanking it. and that's when John's mom just decides to sit down and have a spot of tea.
She's gonna see what her son is into.
it's just Ron Simmons chatting about tossing one off.
That's amazing. Yeah, that happens at my house. I mean, Kelly sat down. It was like a month or so ago, whenever that feud was happening. She sits down and she was like, "Let's see what this is all about." And then we get 4 minutes of Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt laughing at each other. It was that one, and they just kept. She got up and she was like, "I'm going to bed."
And that's the thing. It's like I get douche chills if Brittany's in the room when Matt Hardy's laughing. I hate it. Do you have a heart out?
You look like Brock Lesnar getting goosebumps.
Do you? How much time do you have? Like a few minutes still, or do you have to get out at 11?
I'm good. I'm good for about 10 more.
Okay, because there was just 2 more segments really, and we don't even really need to talk about this next one that much. I wrote down Miz Taraj versus Balor and Rollins happened.
Boy, they got to do something with Balor and Rollins sooner than later.
And then the like I said, I feel like the most buzzworthy moment of the show, strangely, it was between this and the Cammy show, the Kevin Owens and the Sammy and Kevin show, which we didn't really talk about their interaction with Kurt, which was really good. I loved the joke about Jason Jordan.
Oh, that was good. I didn't see it coming either. I didn't even think of that.
And they even
walked them into it.
They doubled down on it too, where it was like, I thought that a good punchline was, Jason Jordan, just the fact that it's such a ridiculous gimmick, and the crowd was laughing then. And then Sammy was like, "Oh, I forgot about Jason Jordan." Kevin's like, "So did Kurt." So, I mean, I thought that was really good stuff there. So I almost put that as a title, but I went with Ronda Rousey snaps Mickie James' arm on Raw. That was pretty cool.
Yes, look at Ronda Rousey getting the star pop and star treatment. I love it.
Yeah. And then just the way she looked really awkward. Again, when you have her act, it doesn't seem to work out very well, because when she was helping Natalya up, I thought she looked like a fish out of water. But when you had her go in and kick ass, it looked great.
Yeah.
I loved that it was Mickie that took it. I thought Mickie couldn't have done a better job. I think she was in the hold for just enough time. I think she sold the hold perfectly. And I hope that they continue to sell it. I hope that on Monday she's in like an arm brace or something, or even if they sell it as a break and she can't wrestle for months, that's the way to do this, I feel like.
Well, Mickie James is one of the ones that if they were going to pick anybody, they could do without her actually wrestling for a while.
Agreed.
I mean, she could be off TV for 2 weeks and come back with a broken arm and be out for months. And it doesn't hurt them at all, because it's helping the Ronda story so much.
I agree. And I love the way it came off. A lot of times when you get either Ronda Rousey involved, or I hate to say it, but like even just the women in general, they sometimes struggle with convincing me of stuff like this. Last night came off really well, I thought.
I'm telling you, man, we said it a while ago, and every time I'm just like, wow, she is definitely Ken Shamrock here. She reminds me of Ken Shamrock. Mm-hmm. Just the way she's come in, the hype, her abilities. He was over, and I liked Ken Shamrock to a degree, but his acting wasn't awesome. No one was going to fool you there. Just let her come out and be badass. Don't make her come out and smile and point the signs. That's never going to work. Don't ask her for timing. Not yet.
Man, if we can get her, can we get her there? Probably not, but can we try? Should we try?
And stop giving her a microphone beside Kurt Angle. Those two shouldn't be walking each other down the path. He's the worst.
Like the blind lead the blind.
Oh, it's the worst.
Kurt did fine last night.
I'm going to say WWE, and you're going to stare.
Hey, I don't know if they've announced this or not, but I think I saw Kurt on the graphic for the Rumble.
He announced it.
Oh, did he announce it?
He said that, I'm going to be in it. Kurt Angle's going to be in it.
I like this.
He said Kurt Angle's going to be in it and Chris Jericho's going to be in it.
Boy, Jared, I wonder. You got me thinking. This could be our new Team Badass versus Team Deadman. I wonder if Ric Flair will be in the Greatest Rumble.
I said that as like a ridiculous thing, but it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me to see Ric Flair. I mean, he's really not great, but he's been all over the place these days. He was on Jimmy Fallon the other day. Like, wouldn't surprise me to see Ric Flair in the Rumble.
No, you're right, but his send-off was so big, and he hasn't had that Mick Foley thing where like he's come back every 6 months. He's never had a match in WWE since his retirement. I wonder if they would do that.
Who knows? Who knows? We might see Stone Cold Steve Austin. We might see Shawn Michaels. These are guys that don't. They can do a little bit of ring stuff if they don't take any bumps and they just get thrown over the top, and he thinks he can get over the top without getting hurt.
But that would be like...
Or Stone Cold wins it. There's nothing on the line. Anybody can win this son of a gun.
Okay, I'm going to put them in this order of likelihood of those three crazy names. I'm going to say Flair is most likely. No, I'm going to say Michaels is most likely, followed by Flair, followed by Austin.
Austin's coming out.
Okay, you want to make that the one? Because I'm going to take a no on Austin.
Okay, I'm going to take a yes on Austin because I think he's the no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you think Austin?
I think Austin's going to win it. Lock him in.
All right.
I'm 2 for 2 in Rumbles this year, bitch. Let's do this.
I'm going to take a no on all those names, but that's my likelihood. What do you guys think about Austin? I'm taking a no. Valeri thinks he's going to win the damn thing.
Coming out at number 30, fingers blazing. Celebrating with beer. Are they allowed to drink beer in Saudi Arabia? I don't know.
I think if they don't have a vagina, they can do whatever they want. He'll be a hero. He was a guy who smacked his wife around a little bit.
Did he hit her with a stone?
Okay. Will we see? What's one of the craziest names we're going to see in the Rumble on Friday? Jerry says Austin. I still think that's too crazy. Let us know what you think in the post show. Now I'm excited.
He's coming in. He's going to give a stunner to the Prince of Saudi Arabia, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.